Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having a great day. Bitcoin has broken weekly resistance and made over 5% during this move, lifting the entire crypto market with it. Analysts are predicting further momentum ahead for the king of crypto, with a further $10 billion added to the cryptocurrency markets. Things are starting to look healthy once again, especially for Bitcoin, which has just reached its highest price for over 6 weeks. The 5% gain accumulated with a peak of just below $11,500 on Saturday and a return above $11,400 on Sunday, as the asset held onto all of its gains and did not do it usual. Oh, okay, there, I got it. It said and didn't have its usual price dump later. I was like, since Thursday of last week, when CoinGate predicted a breakout, Bitcoin has almost made 8% to its current prices, which are around $10,380 at the current price. Of course, the price is constantly fluctuating. When you see the actual chart for Bitcoin, it looks a bit insane. 24-hour volumes and price movements have been completely all over the place. There's nothing really stable about it. We've seen before, or have heard many times in the past, that whenever there is a large amount of fluctuation within Bitcoin's prices, it usually means that a lot of people are back in the market, and therefore we are expecting a big move in a certain way. Apparently, there's an analyst on Twitter who said that he sees Bitcoin looking like it is going to try and push towards 16,000 US dollars, which would be incredible because the number that we constantly keep getting is between the $12,500 and the $14,000 area. If we can make it to 16,000, then we can pretty much make it anywhere. There was a lot of optimistic Bitcoin price news this morning. It was kind of all over the place. This one says Bitcoin surges following news of further stimulus chat. This is also relatively everywhere in the news. The idea is that Bitcoin's price, the idea is that if there is new stimulus package news, that Bitcoin's price will rise, because it will mean that further trillions of dollars will have to be printed in order to sprinkle this among the citizens, and therefore this could be a green light for Bitcoin's price to start moving higher. However, I've seen conflicting news stories as far as what's happening with the stimulus. I'm not going to talk about it here because it really gets into some ridiculous things. However, if there is, and I assume there should be at some point, another stimulus, that would probably bode well for Bitcoin's price, because as we've seen before, you simply can't print trillions of dollars without there being some type of a consequence. And it says Bitcoin and altcoins signaling more upsides. This is all over the place. Everyone's talking about where the coins are going to go. I don't have the individual things. There were, of course, other websites talking about where this is going to go. People are, I think, like a $500 Ethereum. They're guessing $16,000 Bitcoin. I saw a 31 cent to 35 cent XRP. 12, 13, 14 cent Cardano, etc., etc., etc. But, it's nice to have some optimism. That's a really good way to start off the week. I'd rather start off the week this way than having news like Bitcoin slow again, or like something else like that. At least all the analysts across the board, I saw nothing talking about that Bitcoin has to drop. Thank the goodness. All analysts talking about that Bitcoin is looking like it's going to move further, and when Bitcoin moves further, other coins usually outpace it. And without further ado, let's move on. Also, in quite controversially popular news, $12 million worth of Bitcoin that was created back when Satoshi Nakamoto was still actively in the cryptocurrency space just started moving. According to blockchain data tracking bot BTC Parser, 1,050 Satoshi Era Bitcoin mined back in 2010 were spent or moved on the 11th of October in 21 separate transactions that came out to 50 Bitcoin each. Here are the actual transactions. Of course, there's speculation as to why. Maybe that's kind of weird. Never mind. I was going to say, listen. The speculation is, why were there 21 separate transactions? And it could just be a hat tip to the 21 million Bitcoin that there are, but it happened in 50 transaction batches, which is also a little weird. Crypto analytics firm and independent analysts have tried to trace movements involving early-stage Bitcoin to try and determine whether it could be owned by Nakamoto. Blockchain analysts believe the mysterious Bitcoin creator mined a total of 1 million Bitcoin, beginning with the initial 50 reward for the Genesis block in January 2009. The most recent transfer is the third batch of Satoshi Era Bitcoin to move this year. Earlier this month, Bitcoin mined in May 2010 was believed to have been sent to crypto exchange Bitfinex in May. 50 Bitcoin mined all the way back in February 2009, moved and remained inactive for 11 years. So whenever we have something like this, people always completely lose their mind. I'll say it quickly. I was going to avoid it, but I'll say it quickly. A lot of people believe, it is very widely believed, that in the very beginning, Satoshi Nakamoto, for whatever reason, mined roughly around 1 million coins. It's kind of like an urban legend at this point. For some reason, people get scared whenever these coins are moved. The entire idea is it's not like an immaculate conception kind of thing. It's more like he created it and therefore he will never touch it. People forget that Satoshi is human, and realistically, regardless of what you might have created, imagine if you had created Bitcoin and you had 1 million Bitcoin that you had never touched. And at some point, you're like, hey, I would love to have $100 million. You might start selling off some of that Bitcoin. So a lot of people believe that the coins that Satoshi created, that he's just never going to touch. This is the idea for some reason. I'm not sure who came up with this idea, but understand that, money is money. If you need money and you got money, you're going to use that money. So, yeah. There was also, here's the other article right here. $11 million worth of Satoshi Era Bitcoin just moved. Why? Because maybe he wants the money. Maybe somebody finally cracked the code, remembered their password to get into their old computer, and they were like, hey, I would love to have $11 million. I don't know where this idea comes from that Satoshi would not, or anyone from that time would simply be like, no, it's fine. Those coins are unmovable now. No, are you freaking kidding me? If I had a million, what? If I had 1 million Bitcoin and I was like, hey, I want to buy a house in the Bahamas, well, buy $11 million worth of Bitcoin. Anyway, yeah, there's a lot of questions, or rather people have questions. I just chalk it up to someone wanting to move their coins because it's theirs. Also keeping in mind, like, we get so many questions so many times when people get annoyed and frustrated when people aren't allowed to move their coins. You can't take your coins off of Coinbase. You can't do this with your coin. AML, KYC. And then when someone moves their own Bitcoin, everyone's like, why are you moving your own Bitcoin? Like, where's this money going? See the hypocrisy a little bit? Anyway, a lot of people are analyzing this, and I think it's futile because it's someone's money. Let them, if Satoshi, like, this is the game that we're all in. If Satoshi comes back and he's like, boom, I want to be rich, and moves his million Bitcoin, well, that's what we all got in here knowing. Anyway, without further ado, let's move on. In news that was going to happen, and it happened today, members of the decentralized finance community are upset with Yearn Finance founder Andre Cronje over the mishap with Cronje's secret Eminence project. The Eminence protocol gathered $11 million before the project was ultimately hacked before the official launch. I know a couple of you probably missed this video. What happened is Yearn Finance is one of the most popular DeFi protocols out there, etc., yada, yada, yada. It has a face, and that's going to become significant in a couple of seconds. And I mentioned before, first of all, blah, 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 blah. The founder of this on Twitter, it was about 2 weeks ago at this point, posted a picture on Twitter. It said like Eminence something something. It was just a picture. People lost their minds because Yearn Finance and the token, the Wi-Fi coin that's associated with it, had exploded in price. Everyone was like, woo, so much money we made. So people saw he posted this photo and were like, oh my gosh, this has to be a brand new protocol that he's hinting or dropping or just telling his most loyal followers. People, of course, scoured the internet to figure out what Eminence was. They found it. They dumped $15 million. Do you understand how much $15 million is into the protocol in about a good 2 hours? And then bam, someone hacked it. That $15 million was gone. And people decided to go back and scream at the head of the protocol. I mentioned this months ago. I said none of these things are actually DeFi or decentralized because there's a head to the actual dragon. There's a head to the actual protocol. And these people have made themselves known. The co-creators and everything like that. And then we found out, not even mentioning the fact that we found the news that in order to actually have a vote in these protocols, you have to have more than 1% of the tokens, and there are currently several people who have more than 8% of the tokens, and I think Binance is also the largest holder, so Binance can vote exclusively by themselves, so saith the news that we got before. Anyway, according to a recent blog post published on Medium, a group of DeFi community members plans to sue Yearn Finance founder Andre Kranja and Fork Wi-Fi as well. I told you this was going to happen because everyone's extremely excited when these protocols are making money. No one thinks anything of it. I told everyone before, not only were these things not decentralized, but they were also garbage. People were going to lose their money on them at some point, and everyone was like, you're an idiot. You have no idea what you're talking about. These things are the best brand new thing, and you should be telling all of your subscribers about them. So what happened is that he posted a photo. People lost their minds, found the protocol, dumped $15 million of their own money into it, expecting to try and be at the top of the pyramid before everyone else, lost all of their money, and now they're upset with him because of the money that they put into the protocol. As it was recently reported, there's been a lack of trust in Kranja's work since an undercover project that didn't even launch was drained. Why? Why the lack in his work? Because he posted something on Twitter. People always look for a way to be upset with someone else. This is why I keep saying you have to do your own research. And doing your own research doesn't mean you hear that someone else says something and then you throw your money into it. If I ever say something that doesn't sound right to you, investigate it. Look deeper into it. Make sure that I'm not completely insane. I'm sitting in my room right now talking into a microphone. You have to make sure that you are doing your due diligence. It is your own money. Why are you so eager to lose your money every single day? What is this thrill in dumping your money into something that you don't understand? Can you imagine if these people had just waited a day to Google around and see what Eminence was? Who was it created by? Why does it work? Why does it so-and-so? And during the course of those 24 hours, not even 3 hours doing research, they would have seen that this project had been hacked and they would have been like, got it. I'm glad I didn't put my money into that. The project was called Eminence, and after the recent incident, Kron just said he was laying low from social media because people are insane. Stop blaming other people for the things that you do. Stop it. And I know at least this applies to probably a good 3,000 people who are listening to this right now. If you do something and you mess up, stop blaming other people. It's insane. I'm sorry that we have to have this dad talk right now, but it's nuts. This has been happening all across the cryptocurrency space. A lot of people have been upset with this. This is not the only DeFi project that this has been happening to. And this is why a lot of DeFi projects in coins, remember when, what were the other two coins? It was Beam and, oh gosh, what was the other one? The other coin that was like Beam, the other Mimble-Wimble type coin. Like why they were like pseudonymous as they launched, because people get so upset because people keep getting into these coins and thinking that everything is a winner. This was the problem with the ICO space in 2017. I kept on being like with bated breath, hey, that looks like a scam. Don't get into that. It's probably fake. Don't put your money into that. And everyone only sees the prices going up. It's the same exact thing. Like all the Bitcoin rose in price over the weekend and all the DeFi coins have started shooting up. And I know no matter how hard I scream, people aren't going to be paying attention because they're only going to be trying to make money from these protocols once again, because people only see what they want to see. Anyway, like I said, it was going to happen at some point. Better earlier than later, so everyone else can kind of hopefully learn a lesson as well. It's not this man's fault. He posted a picture on Twitter, and people took it upon themselves. Like imagine me posting a photo of a dog, and everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, yellow dog coin," and found a coin that was similar associated to it, threw their money into it, and when the price was garbage and fell apart, they were like, "Nope, it's his fault." Stop it. take accountability for your own actions. Like, nonsense, absolute nonsense. Not even mentioning the fact that, first of all these coins should have never been created. All these DeFi coins are complete garbage. Every single one of them. Without further ado, hopefully that got through to someone. Hopefully one person. If I got through to one person, that's really all that matters. Next up, in news that's gonna make sense, you'll see the crypto community has taken a keen interest in the fact that many of the new companies investing in the crypto market are only stacking Bitcoin and leaving out Ethereum. This has raised a lot of speculation as to why Ether is being left out of the new and big investment portfolios, despite being the second largest cryptocurrency by market cap and being popular for payments. Ethereum's not popular for payments. Ethereum is currently used mainly as a DeFi thing and as a not a security token offering, but people are still launching ICO-ish based things on top of Ethereum. This is what Ethereum is now known for. People aren't paying, no one's paying in Ethereum. Last week, $50 million investment by Square has essentially highlighted this bias, despite the fact that Square CEO Jack Dorsey only advocates for Bitcoin and not altcoins. A lot of people were really upset for some reason that Jack Dorsey or that Square put $50 million into Bitcoin. And once again, that's because people just think that he's a rich person who's throwing money around into the cryptocurrency space. No, Jack Dorsey loves Bitcoin. Jack Dorsey has said that every other coin is CRAP. He does not like them. He does not want them. Jack Dorsey believes that within the next 10 years, the world is going to be running on Bitcoin. So it makes sense why his company, Square, would have invested exclusively into Bitcoin. According to the newest theory, PayPal and Square are in a rush to establish themselves as the main Bitcoin payment intermediaries before Ethereum gets to launch its more superior Ethereum 2.0 later this year. I really wouldn't go that far. It says current theory, Square and PayPal are pro-Bitcoin and cold on Ethereum because they want to be retail payment rails for Bitcoin. Of course. Have you not seen the amount of other institutions who have gotten into Bitcoin? Have you not seen even Grayscale? Grayscale, not fractionally, what's the word? They're on like a 1 to 20 for the amount of Bitcoin they own to the amount of Ether. And then about a 1 to 20 for the amount of Litecoin they own. And then for the amount of XRP they own. They're hedging their bets, but everyone is betting big on Bitcoin. A lot of people don't understand that just because Bitcoin is slow, the entire idea of Bitcoin has completely changed. And a lot of people have not changed with it. People keep thinking that people are going to be using Bitcoin in their transactions daily all around the world. The idea now is that Bitcoin is going to be the peg for other currencies. This is why so much Bitcoin is being accumulated, because if other countries are going to start pegging their currencies to Bitcoin, if you as a single individual have 200,000 Bitcoin, Winklevoss twins, well, you are stronger than many other countries around the world who have had to use Bitcoin as a peg. This is the idea. There's no peg for Ethereum. The entire idea for Ethereum has always been a worldwide computer. People are expected to build their applications, build their websites, and build new forms of the internet on top of Ethereum. People are still very bullish on Ethereum, but you don't understand. This is why I keep screaming in all the other videos. It's the circumvention of the US dollar. What are people not getting about that? People are trying to find a way to stop using the US dollar, and Bitcoin looks like the most likely candidate. Remember, I mentioned before, this was in 2017 or 2018 when people are talking about it on the podcast. They say that every single day that Bitcoin is alive or has not fallen to zero is another form of indication that Bitcoin is going to succeed. Even regardless of all the other forks, the other new coins, the other things, the fact that we've seen multiple other coins that can do 1,000, 3,000, 5,000, 10,000 transactions per second, can hold all the other loads and do all the other things and all the other so-and-so-and-sos, and Bitcoin still remains number one and is still the most adopted coin, shows that Bitcoin is the most likely candidate to succeed out of every other coin. People in the comment section keep saying like, well, Bitcoin's really slow. No one's going to adopt it. You should use this coin. And it's like, no, you're not getting it. No one's going to use that coin in the future. It's just going to be Bitcoin. That's the idea. This is where we are. This is why there's so much money being pushed into it. Do you think that these, and I mentioned this before sometimes as a joke about the people sitting in a dark room at the top of a castle, these things are actually happening. Rich people aren't pushing $425 million into numbers on a screen for nothing. They've had discussions with their entire board of directors and other banks and institutions around the world. Why do you think we keep getting news that all these banks around the world, there are now hundreds of banks around the world. The U.S. government has also told us before, U.S. banks are also now able to legally custody and hold Bitcoin. Why do you think it's always Bitcoin? They're having these discussions. I'm sorry that I'm screaming. They're having these discussions behind the scenes all together. We can't see the actual meetings and people think that these things are not happening. Do you not understand where this all is moving to? This is why Bitcoin is the most important. It's not that other coins aren't going to make it. Bitcoin is poised to be the new world currency, the peg for other currency. It is no longer going to be people stashing gold inside of Fort Knox to base a US dollar off of. It is people hoarding Bitcoin to issue their new currencies off of. I cannot make that more clear than everything I just said. And it is probably most likely when you have enough weight and you have enough money, you are going to make sure that if you see that everyone else is gunning for this one thing, you are going to make sure that you are at the head of the pack as much as you possibly can. So of course, Square and PayPal are trying to position themselves in a manner that they can be the intermediary payment rail for Bitcoin. Of course, why would you not do that? Imagine you had the chance. Imagine you saw where Bitcoin is going. Imagine you're extremely wealthy. No matter where you go, no matter who you talk to, all of your friends are talking about this brand new thing called Bitcoin. They keep pushing tons and tons of money into it, and you realize that you have a company that you can use as a way. If governments are desperate to be able to track these transactions on Bitcoin, and you as a company can say, hey, I'll play ball. You can do everything through my company, and you are the payment rail for the new world currency, you are going to make sure that you are that rail. Why would you not do that? This is also tying loosely into the news that we got a couple of months ago that allegedly, we heard this from three separate people, three separate sources, that PayPal sometime this year is planning on announcing that you can buy Bitcoin directly on their website. And people were like, well, why isn't it XRP? They would be totally much better adding Litecoin. It's because you're not getting it. I don't know if you're just trying not to get it. If you don't understand, I'm here to guide you through all of the confusion if you need so. This adds to the previous observation by DTC's Capital's CTO, Spencer Noon, who said that Square's reluctance to add Ether payments on Cash App is a poor investment decision. It might be, but they don't care because everyone is just betting on Bitcoin. Remember the news that we had before? The people from Fidelity, the New York Stock Exchange, and the NASDAQ, do you understand just these three big names, how large they are? Even JP Morgan Chase was just talking about Bitcoin. To be fair, JP Morgan Chase is also building applications and building their system on top of Ethereum. But the point is everyone's accumulating Bitcoin. I'm fatigued. Honestly fatigued. The point is, the speculation is now that apparently people are jealous of Ethereum. This is why I sucked my teeth. Where was it? It said before Ethereum gets to launch its more superior Ethereum 2.0 later this year. We're only getting Ethereum phase 0. The point that people care about is the staking feature for Ether, to be able to lock up your Ether, to be able to create new Ether. Because if Vitalik Buterin was correct in what he told all of us before, there will then be no inflation on Ethereum. There'll be a new burn mechanism, and in accordance with the amount of new coins being created and the transactions passing through the network, the coin burn and the coin creation would be equal. Therefore, essentially, there would be no new coins entering the market except for those by people who are staking their own coins, and they would be receiving the new coins. So anyway, yeah, no. It's the answer is Bitcoin. I don't know how to make that more clear at this point. It may be a poor investment choice for them not to add Ethereum, but I don't think that they care. Because once again, these are computer systems. All you have to do is create new layers on top of Bitcoin to do exactly what Ethereum is doing. Remember the news that we had, what was it, yesterday or the day before? That the people from Tron and Justin Sun said that they're mimicking to a T everything that Ethereum is doing. Do you want to know why? It's because they're computer programs and they can do the exact same thing as every other coin. Bitcoin is slow, but we know all you have to do is build a new layer. Did everyone get it? Let's move on. Next up, also in slightly controversial news, and I don't understand why it's controversial. Major smartphone maker Samsung has integrated a crypto asset anti-money laundering solution to help boost the security of its blockchain wallet, a function of its latest flagship handsets. Per a blog post from South Korea, Singapore-based software firm Uppsala Security, the company has signed a blockchain service anti-money laundering integration agreement with Samsung and has directly linked its crypto AML solutions to the Samsung blockchain service. The move, said Uppsala, will allow Samsung smartphone users to access real-time threat detection or push notifications triggered by suspicious transactions. And I'll explain exactly what this means in all honesty in just a couple of seconds, because it's not as it seems. The AML solution allows users to check on the status of crypto wallet addresses before proceeding with the transfer to check against a database of interacting with wallets that have been flagged as having possible links to hackers, scammers, or known, I don't even know if I can say this because I've seen this flagged before as well, which is a bit of a shame that I have to worry about what I'm saying. So what's happening is Samsung has been a big advocate of blockchain over the last couple of years. I think in 2018, they launched their first blockchain phone and everyone was like, woo, Samsung. What's happened is that we've entered a space where cryptocurrencies are now a threat. Cryptocurrencies are not something that is going to simply wash away. They are here to stay forever. Our kids are going to know what blockchain is, and they are going to be using cryptocurrencies in their daily transacting in the future. It's just how it's going to be. The issue, not the issue, and I'll explain why this article is. The point is, the idea is for you to be able to have something to detect and or see if someone else is trying to access your money. Real-time threat detection or push notifications, but it has to also do with you being able to give up your information to these companies as well. The idea is for AML, KYC things, in a blockchain space is for you to give up your information to these companies so that you are able to use your money, and also so that you have the security to be able to say, oh, someone else is using my money as well. It was believed for a while, and I don't know why people thought this. This is why I said I don't know why this is controversial, that Samsung getting into the blockchain space, that things would be more decentralized. We'd be able to have access and information to our own finances and stuff like that through a Samsung phone. No, they're Samsung. They're one of the largest companies in the entire world. Of course, the anti-money laundering, know your customer things are also going to fall onto them as well. So, of course, you're going to have to give them your information to be able to use your own money. It's the same exact thing like when you try to use certain websites and you have to like enter in a code, or you have to enter in a so-and-so, and you have to enter in your birth date and all these other things because they have to know that it's you when this is all happening. So, of course, Samsung was going to implement all of these things. It's always touted as a way for you to be able to make sure that your money's safe. But it just has to do with you giving your information to them because you cannot transact in money without a larger source knowing, so that this information, should you do something incorrect, is then sent to another database, and then you know what happens then. Yeah, here's the actual Medium blog post. Of course this was going to happen. It may enhance security, but it's also you giving up your information. And without further ado, let's move on. Also in controversial news, I have no idea what's going on today. The number of blacklisted Tether addresses on the Ethereum network has reached 100 addresses, according to new findings from The Block Research. 84 of the blacklisted actions by Tether took place this year, with most of them happening around or after July. The term blacklisting means that the addresses in question cannot send, receive, or redeem Tether, thus rendering any token, Tether token, held in those addresses as unusable. So if it's there, you can't move it. You can't send it. You can't receive it. You can't swap it into something else. It is simply there. As of the 9th of July of this year, Tether has blacklisted 39 Ethereum addresses holding Tether stablecoin. There are various reasons as to why this might have happened, including law enforcement requests or freezing actions by Tether as part of the recovery process. A lot of people are angry about this. I don't understand why. I mentioned many other times before. I know that I'm not the only voice. I know that I'm not the only authority. I know that I'm not the only anything within the cryptocurrency space. But I like to believe sometimes that when I say something that people go, oh, that sounds logical, let me pass this on to other people. People are upset that Tether is not decentralized, that Tether is a company that has an office that whatever, and that if they choose to do so, that they can freeze your account. This is why we don't need stablecoins, but people don't get that because whatever the actual meaning or case might be within their actual heads. So what's been happening is that people across the board have been getting their addresses, accounts, everything frozen. They can no longer use that Tether. If you didn't see my other video on my other channel, I forgot what it was actually called. It was one of my most recent ones. It explains the difference between like whitelisted and blacklisted cryptocurrency exchanges. I made it very easily accessible and very clear to everyone as to exactly why these things are happening. So if you're confused as to why they're blacklisted or whitelisted or clean cryptocurrency coins, go watch that video. It'll make a lot of sense to you. Yes, Tether is centralized, as are nearly every other thing in the cryptocurrency space is centralized in some sort of way. The only thing you want to know why, once again, why Bitcoin is very popular amongst rich people is because it's actually decentralized. Regardless of any manipulation conversations we might have or how many nodes there might be or how much of a gigantic mining field of computers that China might have, it is the most difficult cryptocurrency to get rid of. You would have to destroy tons and tons, and it's well beyond dozens of places at this point in order to kind of bring down and or slow down the network. This is very good for rich people. Do you want to know why? It's because they want to have control over their finances once again. Have you ever heard, maybe you didn't, I'm not sure if this was a book, something I read online, it was a couple of years ago, the entire idea that if Bitcoin does succeed, and we do eventually have not even the private transactions on top of Bitcoin, just the actual, if the decentralization model continues, if we end up in a future where it's been predicted that eventually our phones will become strong enough to run like mini nodes, mini validation points on our phones, we'll be rewarded for Bitcoin with them, but it'll be fragments of a cent, but we'll be able to validate transactions through our phone. You then get to a point where you can kind of really do whatever you want with your own money in your own way just through Bitcoin. And no other coin at this point is at that level. Not Ethereum, not XRP, regardless of how decentralized mathematically these things might be. Imagine a world where rich people no longer have to buy diamonds and jewels and rubies and homes and paintings as a way to skirt around regulations. They can simply just buy Bitcoin and not have to worry about anyone telling them where they can or cannot use their money. So, yes, this is why we keep hearing things about cryptocurrency exchanges blacklisting transactions, because they're trying to trace all these things. And this is why I keep mentioning, when we have private transactions, what's going to happen? Because I'm pretty sure they're not going to be too happy with people using their own money as they see fit. This is why we keep getting all this news about regulations ramping up so fast, because I think that they know where this is all leading. Also in news, I think this may be the final news story. Yeah, there we go. The Financial Conduct Authority, or the United Kingdom's financial regulator, has banned the sale of crypto derivatives and exchange-traded notes to retail investors. Those are everyday, normal people. Nevertheless, it leaves a gray area in the rule, making it a non-event for Bitcoin traders. The FCA has cited market manipulation always. You have to cite something negative. You have to say that it's bad or scare people away as a way of banning something. This is just how it works. The FCA has cited market manipulation, volatility, security vulnerabilities, and an inadequate understanding of these assets' value proposition as a reason for the ban. Sheldon Mills, interim executive director of strategy and competition at the FCA, said, "Significant price volatility, combined with the inherent difficulties of valuing crypto assets reliably, places retail consumers at a high risk of suffering losses from trading. We have evidence of this happening on a significant scale. The ban provides an inappropriate level of protection." The news was that the United Kingdom has banned the buying of crypto derivatives by a huge number of people within the market. ETFs, ETNs, potentially even futures, etc., etc. And I'm glad this article came out right here. It says UK crypto derivatives ban seen having little effect on small market. A lot of people have been trying to dig deeper into this to see exactly what effect this would have on the cryptocurrency market, or the effect on people trying to get into the cryptocurrency market through Bitcoin derivatives. If you want the honest answer, it would have little to no effect. First of all, complete honesty, the UK's crypto market isn't big. It's not as big as Asia's, and it's not as big as the States. And I think even if you want to go to mainland Europe, it's also not as big as mainland Europe. We never really get a lot of news about the UK crypto derivatives market, really, moving prices around. The other part is the internet. If there's a problem with one space, with one so-and-so, or one... If you can't use it on one cryptocurrency exchange, you simply move to another. This is once again what regulators don't get and aren't going to get. As we move closer and further into the future and decentralized exchanges become more of a thing, people are simply going to start trading these products on those exchanges as well. Like I understand that they're trying their best to reel in the market or trying to get control of it. You know what I'm going to say next, but I won't say it out loud. If you can't trade derivatives on one exchange, you simply go to another. Do you think that all the people who were trading derivatives on BitMEX were like, oh, well, now we can't go anywhere. BitMEX is gone. What are we supposed to do? You move to another cryptocurrency exchange because that's what everyone else is doing. So no, the UK's ban on crypto derivatives is not going to have any effect on the market. People will simply move somewhere else or move into a new project or move into DeFi or move into some other place that they're able to make money because that's how our markets work. I would love to not have a conversation with Hester Pierce, but really with a regulator and really pick their brain to figure out what goes through their heads. Of course, they can never tell me the honest truth. Imagine them being we're scared. We have no idea what to do. But I would love to talk to someone and figure out what goes through their heads when it comes to regulation. They must know at this point that it's, I don't want to use the word futile, but if you do something, the cryptocurrency space quickly adapts. Regulation can't keep up with the how quick the cryptocurrency space moves. Normally when it comes to rules and regulations, it takes 2 to 3 years to draft something, to have it looked over, to have it pushed through this door, to have it pushed through there, and to finally have someone else sign it and say, well, that's now banned. But 3 years have passed, and we have 5 other new things in the cryptocurrency space. This is why I think the regulators have such a big problem with DeFi, because many of the projects have tried to be decentralized. If you don't have a face to it, who can you sue? Who can you run to? Who can you scream at? Who can you tell all these things? No, you can't do this. You can't do that. Because it doesn't. The future is going to be interesting. I don't think a lot of people see it. People are so focused on the prices of these things, you don't see where all of this is leading. It's a world. Years ago, I remember reading this and hearing this, and Antonopoulos saying it. The future, we're going to enter a world where there are almost no or very few regulators. How do you regulate a space that you have no control over? How do you regulate currency that you can't see? In a worldwide network where, like Bitcoin, I mentioned this in the last video, where you can use XRP or Ethereum or Bitcoin or any other coin, and we all mentally decide this is the coin that we're going to be using as our form of payment around the world. How do you tell people to stop using that? How do you stop billions of people collectively from doing something? How do you enforce regulations on something if overnight something can change, or over the course of a month, and we get rid of something and simply decide, well, I'm going to go for MiFi because MiFi is the brand new thing, while they're giving regulations to DeFi, No one cares about DeFi then because it's old. 3 years later, we get a law that finally comes out. This is why the regulations within the US space is so fascinating, because all the rules that they're now drafting and stuff like that only apply to stuff from years ago. It's so incredible to see all of this stuff taking place. This is why I said, like, people only pay attention to the actual numbers and Chainlink is up by this, but you don't really get this digital revolution that's taking place right before our eyes. This is why I get so passionate sometimes, because I can see it. I can see all of it. And it's going to drive normal people insane, because no one's really ready for this world. The world of AI, the world of CRISPR, the world of free financial transactions, the world of it, the list goes on and on. It really, really does. Digital real estate. What is that? Like, think of how different the world is now in this date compared to exactly 20 years ago. And then 20 years before that. Imagine going to the year 1980 and explaining to them all the stuff that we have now. Your phone is a combination of metal, glass, and plastic stuck together, and I can communicate with all of you wirelessly in real time. You can video chat with someone instantaneously on the other side of the world. We have money that is a number on a screen. There's no actual physical paper Bitcoin. It's just a number. It's a representation of value that I can send around the world instantaneously to anyone on the planet. Imagine explaining that to someone from 40 years ago, for 100 years ago. You would blow their minds. Even the fact that listen, I'll tell you everything right now. I was talking to my grandmother a couple of days ago. I was checking in on her to see how she was doing. And I was explaining to her, like, the actual usage of the phone, because we were video chatting. And I was like, isn't it crazy that even our phone, like, I'm video chatting with you in real time. I was like, our phone is a calculator. Our phone is a weather app. Our phone has like 30 video games on it. And she, like, was sitting there in shock. She was like, oh my gosh, but it's true. Like, and this is now. This is this date. We have people talking about self-driving cars and self-driving trucks and self-driving. Have you seen the self-driving helicopters and the self-driving planes? Imagine 20 years from now where we're going to be. Have you seen Neuralink? Have you seen all these things? I'm sorry. I love talking about the future. I love all these new technologies and stuff like that. There are just so many things happening, and regulators have a hard time keeping up with little things like this. And what is it called? The actual, it's not creation of technology, like the actual, what is it called? The growth of technological advancements is exponential. Like, around the 1930s, we were around here, and then we're currently, like, we're on a constant slope upward. Like, there's no stopping it at this point. Like, the world is changing rapidly. It has already changed, and you got to be prepared, because it's going to be an absolute doozy. And I don't think people really get that. But in 10 years, you will, because the world is not going to be the same at all. As always, a very special thank you to my Patreon supporters. Professor Wally from Gunbot University, Tolek Banan, Auspicious Agile and Blockchain Decentralized, Peter Navarro Williams, David James, Attila the Han, Yasha Harari, Oscar Maldonado, Utopia 569, Moonman High, XRP, Joshua Vineyard, Martin Steuer, Nostromo, John Starson, The Animal Reader, A Bibliophobia, Todd Mullis, Adam Graysick, Moher Maroni, Master Ventures in Thailand, Jared Schneider, Wise Night Owl, 242 to the World, Bankroll Network, Crypto Artist, Coldy 3D, Damien Setsuna, Richie Rich III, Vlad the Impaler, Paxis, Nick Mangialavori, Anthony Charles, Jim Gardner, Jeremy Fox, Minting Coins, Miller Hitch Test Every Day, and Kyle Skips Leg Day. Yes to Crypto, Bodie McBoatface, Anytime Fitness, Monk's Corner Staff, Arf Medic 17, Bake Me a Cake, Tigger Macho Nisa, On Crypto with Lionel, Crayla Michelle, URL, and Bolero Bastos. Thank you all very, very much for your support. Thank you to everyone who is a member of the channel. Thank you to everyone who is a new subscriber to my other two channels. Thank you to everyone for being here. And at the moment, Bitcoin is choppy. The prices of the top cryptocurrencies are kind of all over the place. They've mimicked each other to a certain degree. Bitcoin is completely unstable in many different ways. I've seen the news, we've heard the news, that volatility is incredible for Bitcoin's price because it shows a renewed interest in the market. However, it looks a bit nuts I think XRP is the only coin that's down, but it's down by 0.86%. I guess this movement down maybe triggered that happening. Binance Coin and Chainlink are doing extremely well right now. Binance Coin, not really sure why. It could just be because it's Binance Coin. Every single thing that Binance comes out with uses Binance Coin in some sort of way, so I assume good things will probably continue for Binance Coin. Chainlink, who knows? Honestly, there's no Chainlink news, but yeah. Random coins are up. Monero's up by almost 10%, give or take. Other coins are really fluctuating all over the place. I think everything is probably logically just waiting to see where Bitcoin is going to go. Are we going to hit 16,000? Who knows? I don't think there are many barriers stopping us from hitting that number at this point. I think the market usually needs a trigger. I think it normally needs something like a new stimulus package coming. Everyone will receive 2,000. We will be printing 2.2 trillion. Bam, Bitcoin's price goes up. X, Y, and Z happened. I can't even think of any actual theoretical events, but you understand what I'm saying. Because all the fundamentals are there. We have a lot of people in the market. We have tons of people who are constantly buying, whether that be over the counter or through a cryptocurrency exchange. Miners all have their computers on. The mining hash rate is always at a new all-time high. So we'll see where this goes. We have no choice because the future will continue with or without us. I do hope you all enjoyed. I do hope you all are having a great day, a great morning, a great afternoon, a great evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope that it is absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching and listening, and I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.